Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2020 Revised Curriculum and Assessment Plan Mediation for the Grade 7s. The following meeting is going to be conducted to explain the reasons behind the changes to the ATP. So welcome. Let's start. Slide 2. The GDE vision and mission. Every learner feels valued and inspired in our innovative education system. Mission. We are committed to provide functional and modern schools that enable quality teaching and learning to protect and promote the right of every learner to quality, equitable, and relevant information. Presentation outline. We are going to look at the background, the purpose, amendments to the content overview for the phase, amendments to the annual teaching plan, amendments to school-based assessment, the Grade 7 curriculum support packages, announcements, and conclusion. Background. The COVID-19 disruption has led to a national shutdown. Even with attempts to offer education using online tools, a great deal of classroom instructional time is going to be lost. Key questions for consideration. What is the extent of the time loss and the curriculum content that could not be covered? What are the implications of the lost time for teaching and learning, curriculum, assessment, and the educational outcomes? And how can the time lost be recovered, or can the curriculum be reviewed to ensure that the essence of the curriculum is completed in the remaining time available? Purpose. To mediate the amendments of the trimmed and reorganized 2020 annual teaching plan, including school-based assessment for Grade 7 home language and first additional language levels, for implementation in June 2020 as stipulated in Circular S2 of 2020. To ensure that meaningful teaching proceeds during the remaining teaching time as per the revised school calendar. To assist teachers with guided pacing and sequencing of curriculum content and assessment. To enable teachers to cover the essential core content or skills in each grade within the available time. To assist teachers with planning for the different forms of assessment, and to ensure learners are adequately prepared for the subsequent years in terms of content, skills, knowledge, attitudes, and values. Amendments to the content overview for the Grade 7s. Grade 7, Term 2. The DBE removed the dialogue, the group discussion, the forum discussion, the role play, dramatization, the interview, and these orals were removed across the terms and grades. The June examination was also removed, although we will still be doing an oral task during Term 2. Paper 2, as well as Paper 3, will be written during normal school teaching time. I will explain that a bit later. In Term 3, we have removed the literature creative writing project. The oral presentation based on the project will now become a listening comprehension or an unprepared or prepared speech. The literature test, as per the old program of assessment, will still be written in Term 3. In Term 4, The informal class and group discussions used for the examination preparation were also taken out, and it was replaced by a one-to-one oral representation. The writing essay, paper 3, as well as the paper 2 reading comprehensions will be done in the November-December examination that has been given, that will be given at the end of the year. A summary of the reorganization of content topics. The listening and speaking skill. Oral activities that compromise social distancing have been removed. Debate, the interview, the dialogue, the role play. Oral activities that involve speaking in pairs and groups, interaction has also been removed. Some oral activities, such as prepared and unprepared reading, has been reconfigured to comply with the COVID-19 measures. Reading and viewing. The creative writing project in term 3 has been removed as it needs lots of preparation and teaching time. Language, structures, and conventions are taught in context and based on the text used. Teachers are not expected to cover all the language structures and conventions within a given cycle. Summary to the amendments to the weightings of content topics. Listening and speaking is highly compromised. Weighting on term 1 is not affected. Weightings on terms 2 to 4 are heavily affected. It will mainly focus on listening comprehension, unprepared, prepared reading, unprepared, prepared speech, and teacher-led discussions and conversations. The weighting of the writing and presenting is slightly affected by the removal of the creative writing project as part of the formal assessment tasks in term 3. Reading and viewing and language structures and conventions both retain their weightings with some slight shift in focus. Let's just pause here for a moment. Please note that the new program of assessment has also now been jeopardized by the COVID-19. Therefore, we are now going to have to wait for the Department of Basic Education to provide us with a new patch that will speak to the adapted ATP as well as the new changed program of assessment due to COVID-19. It is therefore suggested that you make your own or use class lists to record the marks during the terms as we wait for the Department of Basic Education to redesign and make the new patch. The summary of the revised program of assessment. In term 1, the grade 7s completed tasks 1 to 5. All the tasks were marked and learners are supposed to have received their report cards, and the patch that was given to the schools by the DBE was used. During term 2, grade 7, their task 6 is an oral assessment, and it will comprise of a listening comprehension or an unprepared speech or a prepared speech. This can be done throughout the term. Task 7, the writing component. It is an essay which consists of either a narrative or a descriptive, as well as a transactional text consisting of an advertisement, a poster, or an instructional text. It is also possible, ladies and gentlemen, that you can use your set paper 3 that you had set for the June exam. Make the necessary adjustments and give that to the learners to do during school time. Task 8. That would be the comprehension and language section, or the paper 2 for the June exam. It is suggested that you use the comprehension or the paper 2 for the exam and divide it then into 4 sections. Section 1 or question 1.1 would be the reading comprehension. Question 1.2 will be your visual literacy. Question 2 will be the summary the learners will have to do. And question 3 will then be the language structures and conventions. You will also have to make sure that you look at the new adjusted ATP and make the necessary changes to the question paper you had set. Because it is also possible at this stage that you had included questions in your exam paper that you will not now do because of the adjusted ATP. Please ensure that the questions that you ask is the questions and the work that was taught during class time. You can do these during class time across the term, and then you will just add up all the marks to get to a total of 60 marks for task 8. In term 3, grade 7, you will still do an oral representation of a listening comprehension or a prepared reading, and your task 10 there is your literature test. Then in term 4, everything that you will do there is part of the end of the year exams. So you will have an oral component. You will have your task 11, which is the writing, the essay, and the transactional text. And then a task 13, which will be your paper 2, that consists of your comprehension, your visual lit, your summary, and your language structures and conventions. You will also note that you now only have 13 tasks for the year and not 14 tasks for the year due to the scrapping of the literature project in term 3. The curriculum packages. We received adjusted annual teaching plans for all grades and subjects from the Department of Basic Education. We received for grade 7 first, and then we will receive for grade 8, and then for grade 9. From provincial side, we are going to give to all the teachers exemplar worksheets based on key concepts. Within this package, the teachers will also receive an exemplar PowerPoint presentation based on key content, exemplar lesson plans to assist teachers with the adaptation of teaching methodologies, cross-referencing on free online activities, as well as an exemplar standardized assessment task or frame. On slide 17 and 18, ladies and gentlemen, you will find a list of all the content that was developed within the packages that you will receive from the province. This will be downloaded on the GDE website, but it has also been approved that every school will receive a memory stick, and on this memory stick will be all the lessons developed by all the subjects for grade 7. So have a look at that. the release schedule as per the DBE Curricular S2 of 2020. The Grade 12 and Grade 7 information was released on the 25th of May. The Grade 11 and Grade 6 information was released on the 27th of May. Grade 10 and Grade 5 information on the 29th of May. Our Grade 9s and Grade 4s will receive the information on the 1st of June. And the Grade 8s will receive their information on the 3rd of June. Grade 7, according to the proposed calendar, will have 39 days in Term 2, 37 days in Term 3, and 38 days in Term 4. The removal of concepts is mindful to the critical and foundational role that languages play in other content subjects. Fortunately, language concepts are repetitive. In nature, they are repeated across the terms, the grades, and the phase. Mediation of revised Grade 7 ATPs, dates to be determined by districts. We had the meeting last week via Zoom. This is now the meeting that we had for teachers that could not attend the meeting. We would like to make a humble appeal to observe rules and regulations based on social distancing and to utilize digital platforms such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams. Curricular support packages will be made available via the Google Drive link, a USB, a memory stick, or uploaded on a GDE platforms. Please note that these are exemplar lessons, ladies and gentlemen. You can use them, but in some cases you will have to make some changes to them so that they adhere to one, the learner that you teach and sits in front of you, and two, the resources that you have available. But the frames for the lesson plans and the frame given to you for the 2-week cycle, as well as the layout of the task sheets for the learners, has been given to you and they are now set. So please utilize the frames given to you, even if you use your own content. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we've led. Nelson Mandela. This is the end of the PowerPoint presentation. I would like to thank you all for participating and being part of this humongous effort to get our grade 7s through our school here. Ladies and gentlemen, be safe and God bless.